Honorable Vice President of India, our very revered and dear leader, and our very lovable guardian guide, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, Honorable Sridharan Pillai ji, the Governor of Mizoram, Shri Zoramthanga ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, Shri Joy, our friend and also a known name in the arena of journalism, Shri Ketkar ji, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I have to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to be here among this galaxy of scholars. As I was sharing with the Honorable Governor, I had been away for almost a month because of the district council elections happening in Jammu and Kashmir. But when I was told of this ceremony happening, I have travelled back today especially for this, to go back again, because I thought if I miss this occasion, it will be my loss, because I know when I go back from here this evening, I shall go back much more inspired than before and a wiser person, maybe also carrying a bit of reflection of creativity, which is reflected in this book, O Mizoram. As was being rightly mentioned by Ketkar ji, Sridharan Pillai ji wears many hats. He is simultaneously a scholar, an orator, a writer, a poet, a creative person of course, a nationalist, an activist, an accomplished politician, a successful administrator, and a very powerful watcher of nature. And he has had a very long, checkered career, which too has been equally versatile, beginning as a student activist and then graduating to achieve the kind of status that he holds today. I happened to go through his book only about an hour back when I received it, because I was not here. 2 or 3 things which quickly came to my mind were, he has carried the inspiration of Kovalam up to Mizoram. And that is possible only if a person is compulsively creative. And I think that can, because I have been indulging in this kind of indulgence, if not fully to a great extent, and I know it gives you pangs if you don't create. No, it's like childbirth pangs. So if it doesn't come out of your stomach, it starts aching. So I could see he must be experiencing similar pangs on the beaches of Kovalam. And when he reached Mizoram, he must have, realized what was the outlet for the pangs, and Mizoram came handy. And in fact, that happens with every creative person. More so the writers and the poets. And as I was listening to Ketkar ji, because I fortunately or unfortunately do not carry written talking points, and that gives me the liberty to be a little unorthodox. I was realizing that 2-3 examples instantly came to my mind, and from different genres of poets from different languages. For example, when Wordsworth wrote his famous poem called Daffodils, which is part of legend now, as Ketkar ji knows. So somebody asked him, how did you get the idea of writing on daffodils, in a poem which has become eternal, immortal? because daffodils have been there since eternity. And the thought never occurred to anybody. So you know what he said? He said this just because one man walks through the world with eyes open, the other walks with the eyes closed. This is a single sentence answer to that. So that is the difference between the person whose creativity is always at work and it comes out spontaneously. The second Oriental example is this one from the West, second from Gurudev Tagore, who refers to an anecdote when he was travelling in a train from Calcutta, which is now known as Kolkata. Incidentally, we have got this habit of changing names. So for the old readers, it's Calcutta still. He was travelling in a train from Calcutta to Banaras. And he says that at the end of the journey, I realized that throughout the journey, all that I had done was looking out of the window. Because I got so much engrossed in the changing visuals outside the window and got so much engrossed in the changing faces of nature that I forgot to look other way around. I never realized that I was travelling before the train came to an halt and I was to alight from the train. The third example, and this happened when I was listening to Kedkar ji, who also made an equally inspiring presentation. Mirza Ghalib once travelled to Calcutta, the Kendra of Tagore. And that was the only occasion he travelled, because he would have never otherwise travelled, because his place of work was where we are right now sitting, Chandni Chowk and Delhi. What happened that in 1857, after the fall of the Mughal Empire, when Bahadur Shah Zafar was imprisoned by the Britishers and sent to Rangoon, Ghalib did nothing except writing poetry. And the monarchies those days were indulgent with creative persons, so there was a kind of an honorarium fixed for him. So that honorarium got held up. So he was from hand to mouth. And he was suggested that you must go and plead your case to the British rulers, and the capital happened to be Calcutta. He came back not fully satisfied because his case was still pending. But after he came back, he felt compelled to write a poem on Calcutta. And some of the lines of which went like this, कि किया जब किसी ने कलकत्ते का जिक्र तो दिल से निकला के हाय हाय. Now which way high is, you can understand. But high also that I miss it now. There's nostalgia mixed with the pain of disappointment. So travel and travelogue come naturally to persons who are creative. For example, we had Satyajit Ray, who was simultaneously creative in many ways and one. And the famous story about him that when he was picturizing Patra Panchali in early 1950s, he wanted to picturize a flower, a kind of sunflower which is only. So he spent 15 days, because we didn't have technology that day. So every day he would go with the camera. Sometimes there would not be sunrise, sometimes the sky would be cloudy. And ultimately one day there was a sunrise and he was so elated, excited, went there. By the time he could reach the spot where he had to picturize, an animal had come and consumed that flower. So again, but that creativity gives a person restlessness, and out of that restlessness comes out a creation like this. The second thing I was observing in just an hour or so which I got to go through this book is that in the poems written by Sridharan Pillai ji also, there is a reflection in the versatility of thought. And there is also, if I may say so, a reflection of his capacity to laugh at himself and a sense of humor at his own cost, at the cost of his genre. And I'll give you two examples. I was going through this book when I was traveling in the car. One of them is on mango. Since I also happen to be a clinician dealing with diabetes. And he says, I look at the mango and then I look at the insulin shot. So I think that sums up all the state of mind that a person having diabetes would be going through. And the second, which, as I said, the capacity to laugh at oneself and also laugh at one's genre, is a poem at page number 59. I will just read out 2 lines. Condolence. The news of leader's death spread far and wide. Fast flowed messages of sadness, which you always do. Every morning, you try to find out whose death anniversary it is. And your team tweets, even if you don't know. You become so mechanical about it. As I said, this is a reflection, the capacity to laugh at the genre which he and I incidentally now belong, having come from different backgrounds like he too and me too. So fast flows the message of condolence, in words which stand the candor of grief. Words are there, grief is lacking. Projecting typical hypocrisy. The world knew he was great, but those who feign love and attachment have their foxy eyes on the chair he left. So that sums it all. Because it's true that in the kind of world that we are presently, when one is gone and dead, those who are at the cremation ground immediately start discussing who's going to replace him and start also lobbying before the pyre settles down. So the foxy eye is on the chair, but the tweet is on the grief. Permission, the tweet is on the grief. And I sometimes in fact tell myself that someone like us who is active in this arena should also pray to God to die at a time when you don't receive the curses of the survivors. Very often they say, अरे आज का दिन मर गया, इतनी बड़ी मीटिंग थी आज, अभी कौन इसमें टाइम जाया करेगा? So, in the world that we live, sometimes dying also becomes a curse. I could have gone on and on, but in the presence of Honorable Vice President of India, I would cut short here itself with compliment from the bottom of my heart. Mizoram is a place with a very small population of just 10 lakh, but its literacy rate is more than 95-96%, second only to Kerala, the place he comes from. And I always say that the comparison is unequal because Kerala had a legacy of high literacy rate right from the British Raj, whereas Mizoram is just about 30-35 years old state. So obviously, it presents to you a background, a scenario which is inspiring, which is creatively enthusing, and Sridharan Pillai ji has made the best use of that and shared it with all of us. We have to thank him for giving us this book, O Mizoram, O Sridharan Pillai.